Hey y'all, it's that time again. It's Math with Mrs. Peters, the crazy cat lady of Hiram High School. And today we're going to talk about finding the solution set to rational inequalities. So, we're going to talk about rational inequalities, right? Rational inequalities. Let me get my... Okay, we're going to manipulate the inequality so the right side of the inequality is 0. And no, we do not have to do this for this particular equation because we already have 0 over there. And there actually is a reason why I want 0 over here, because in the long run I'm going to be looking at my inequality symbol here and it's going to tell me what type of answers I'm going to get. That's a little pre-knowledge there. Right? So, step 2. I want to factor both the numerator and the denominator. Well, lucky for me, my numerator and denominator are already factored. There's nothing I can do with this. So the answer to this question is none. Okay. I'm going to find all the critical numbers. These are numbers which could produce 0 in the numerator or the denominator. And set all these factors equal to 0 and solve each of them. So with that said, what I'm asking to do is I'm going to look at this. Okay, well, I subtract 7 to both sides. I get x is equal to -7. Okay, now looking at the denominator, I'm going to say, okay, x minus 3 equals 0. Well, add 3 to both sides. I get x is equal to +3. Okay, so my critical values right now is x equals 3 and x equals -7. Right? And to determine any numbers that can produce division by 0 and make a note of this number, because I can't have it in my solution set. And remember, we're talking about inequalities, so that means we have a solution set. Okay? Does this happen with this equation? Yes, it does. And it's my blue 3, +3. Okay? Now, I'm going to plot these critical values in numeric order on the number line. Okay? That means I've got my +3 over here, and I have my -7 over here. Now, I'm going to test a value for each interval. Okay? My intervals, highlighter out, I have an interval here, I have an interval here, and an interval here. Okay? Remember, I'm going to test my values. So, oops, created by the critical values. And I'm going to evaluate any number. So it doesn't matter what the number is. I just want to know, does my answers inside here, are they a positive number, or are they a negative number, or are they a... Well, I guess that's the only choices you have, is positive numbers or negative numbers, because these critical values is where things actually are equal to 0. So, what numbers do I want to test? Well, being Mrs. Peters, I think I'm going to use red for my critical values. Nah, purple. I feel purple today. So, one of my critical values is going to be 0, because that's a nice one to do. I'm going to use a critical value over here of 4. And I'm going to use a critical value over here of -10. Now, I'm going to test my values. That means I'm going to take this right here, I'm going to type it in the calculator, and I'm going to do it 3 times. One time with -10 plus 7 over -10 minus 3. I'm going to do it with 0 plus 7 divided by 0 minus 3, and then I'm going to do it with 4 plus 7 over 4 plus, excuse me, that would be minus. Now, when I type it into my calculator, it's going to tell me what the value is. Okay, this one's going to come out to be negative, well, actually negative 3 over negative 13, which happens to be positive 3 over 13. This one is going to be negative 7 over 3. And this one is going to be 11 over 1. Okay, so here's what we want to know. I want to know where my answers are positive and where my answers are negative. All right, so I'm going to use some color. I'm going to use my highlighter. And where they are negative, okay, I'm going to highlight in red. And where they are positive, I'm going to highlight in green. So, negative 10 gave me a positive area there, and so did positive 4. So my answers in those green sections are positive answers. Now, my answers in this section were negative, and those coincided with these right here. So, now, this is where we want to go back. We're going to look at what our inequality symbol said. Our inequality symbol said that I want things bigger than 0. And bigger than 0 means I'm looking for positive answers. See? Bigger than 0 means I'm looking for positive answers. Oh, and that would be the wrong color. That means I need the color green. So I'm looking for things that are green. Okay, so my answers for this particular problem then is going to be, okay, an open dot at 7 going this way, and an open dot at 3 going this way. And it says I have to write my answer in interval notation. So my answer in interval notation, based off of this graph that I've made, okay, my answer in interval notation says I'm coming from infinity, okay, and I'm going to go up to negative 7, but not actually get to negative 7, and that's a union with not being at positive 3, and then I'm going to go on forever and ever and ever in the other direction. Remember, infinity means that we are going in to infinity and beyond. It's a direction. I'm going to the right or I'm going to the left.